Okay, well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Entrepreneurs Without Limits. I'm Dana Scranton, your founder and your head lifestyle enthusiast. And welcome to another session. What we're going to be talking about today is going to be the topic of feelings and thoughts. These are the areas that kind of go into the attitude category that will prove to be very, very beneficial as we move forward into learning about your code of life and living. Now, in the prior episodes, we've built on different steps as we migrate towards this particular discussion of attitude. And attitude, as I've said previously, is a compilation. In other words, it consists of multiple elements. And those elements are values and beliefs, the things that are really the bedrock, feelings, thoughts that bubble up within us that prompt us to do certain things like behaviors that generate consequences. So today we're kind of in the middle of that flow. We had values and beliefs. On the other end is the topic of behaviors and consequences. And we're right now in the middle where we're talking about feelings and thoughts. These are the things that prompt the values and beliefs to be moved into action. But what are feelings and thoughts, and which one comes before the other? We see that's a topic that some will argue. And some will say that the first thing you have is a feeling, and from the feeling comes a thought. But yet there's a body of research and evidence that it could be either way. Thoughts can generate feelings, feelings can generate thoughts. And where do feelings come from anyway? Are feelings in the subconscious mind, or are they in the heart? Well, we're not going to go into the deep physiology of those kinds of things, but here's the real bottom line. Look at yourself and how you feel. When something in your life happens and you have a feeling, where is that feeling? The feeling isn't in your mind, is it? The feeling is somewhere in your solar plexus. It's somewhere in the middle of your body. It's near your heart. So all of the neurons, the cells that are processing electrical signals and creating the feelings and emotions of our life are responding to stimuli, responding to input from the external environment. So a thought can give rise to a feeling can give rise to a thought. It's a cyclical phenomenon. And I'm sure you've seen that when you think about something, you get a feeling, and then the next thing you know, you're thinking about something else, you're escalating it, and you're getting more of a feeling, and you're just ramping yourself up into either anxiety or being completely euphoric about something, irrational exuberation. Those are all feelings and emotions that are connected to thoughts. So where do those come from? Well, they come from our historical database, values and beliefs, and the behaviors and the consequences that are generated by those behaviors that feed back, as we've talked about in the prior episodes, that feed back to create the feelings and thoughts that then give rise to what? More actions, more behaviors, more consequences. But those feelings and thoughts, when acted upon, either reinforce values and beliefs, refute values and beliefs, or create new values and beliefs. So what, you might say? Feelings and thoughts are the things that we have to be very much aware of. We're not necessarily aware of our beliefs on a day-to-day basis. We may be aware of our values, as we've discussed earlier. But as we go through our day, as the thoughts bubble up into our mind, and there are 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day running through your mind at the subconscious level, and only a very small number of those bubble up to the conscious level. I think the number is somewhere in the 2,500 to 5,000 range. You get a lot of thoughts going on during the day. But the point being is when you're having those thoughts, you're having feelings and emotions that go along with those. What's the difference between a feeling and emotion? Well, okay, that's a little esoteric, but an emotion is something that you're more consciously aware of, and you kind of know why and what it is and what that emotion is all about. You're happy, sad, you're elated, you're depressed. The feeling, on the other hand, is something that you're kind of trying to isolate. You're trying to determine what is this feeling. I've got this sensation in the middle of my body, near my heart, my solar plexus. But what is it? It's a little deeper into the subconscious, but they are very much related, and they very much produce thoughts, and thoughts produce emotions. Thoughts produce feelings. When you have experiences in life, when you're in traffic, or you go to a party, or you go to a friend's house, or you go out on a date, um, those experiences are thoughts. The experiences give rise to you're thinking, you're thinking, oh, this is wonderful. Oh, she looks so nice tonight, or wow, this is really fun, or oh man, this situation is not where I want to be. Those are thoughts. And those thoughts are possibly derived from your experiences that are prompting feelings. But we're not going to worry about which one comes first. What we want to talk about, what we want to focus on, is what we have as a feeling or a thought at that moment. We want to be in control. We don't want to respond inappropriately. We don't want to react instantaneously. Now, as we said in the prior episode, the research shows you've got about a quarter of a second on the average, less than a quarter of a second from the time that a feeling or an emotion prompts a thought to an action being taken. And when you are aware of that, now you know to slow down. You can't slow down the speed at which the feeling, the emotion, or the thought arrive in your mind, but you can consciously be aware that you evaluate what it is before you enact in a behavior that produces a consequence that you don't want, or you design a behavior that gives you a consequence that you do want. Feelings and thoughts are something that most people are not necessarily cognizant of until they have passed. In other words, they react to a thought or a feeling before truly evaluating and thinking about it. Now, sometimes thoughts and feelings can be deceptive. You have to listen to and hear them, right? It's like talking to another person. Okay, you hear, but do you listen? And the same is true of your feelings and thoughts. You hear, but do you listen? And that's a key to generating a mindset that serves you, that helps you to create the life that you want. Being aware of what those feelings and thoughts are communicating to you. And if you put it in that context, if you make it a priority to understand, then by force of habit, you will not react inappropriately. In fact, you will respond to them. Because feelings and thoughts are trying to tell you about your values and beliefs. And as we've said in prior episodes, the objective here is to create values and beliefs that serve you, that serve your purpose and your vision, that enable you to move through life in a congruent manner to achieve that which you desire. Now, that's not selfish. That is bringing the very best of you to a world that desperately needs the very best of you. And that's very important to remember. The very best of you is what the world needs. And you have everything within you to create the very best version of you. But you have to be aware and cognizant of it. And that begins by paying attention to those feelings and thoughts, mapping them against your beliefs and values, and evaluating those and questioning them to make sure you're on track. See, you have everything you need. You don't need a high-powered therapist to come in and tell you what you're all about. What you have is the ability to consciously listen to your subconscious and your heart. That's congruence. When you listen, you learn. When you only hear, you react. When you hear, you listen, you learn, and then you respond. And you respond in a way that creates for you a behavior that is congruent with who you are, where you want to go, and the consequences of that, positive consequences that lead you in the direction you want to go. So, very important to take the time to listen. Now, one way to do that is meditation, to sit quietly, and you're going to have a lot of thoughts running through your head. Pick one that triggers an emotion, a feeling. Stop on that thought and give it your attention. Listen to it. You heard it as it was screaming through your mind. pull it back and listen to it. Understand it. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Why am I thinking this? Is it congruent or not? And also keep in mind that your subconscious mind is going to take direction from your conscious mind. It's going to take direction from your environment, the experiences that you present to it. And it's going to do what it has to do. It has a database to act against. When you start listening to your feelings and emotions, you put your subconscious mind on notice that you're reconsidering the patterns that are residing within you. You're either reinforcing them or you're rewriting them. So it's a matter of being in control. And thing is you can extrapolate. For example, let's say that you're aware that you're a little hot-headed, that you're a little quick on your temper, a little quick with your tongue. You know this is something you've experienced in the past. So you're going to ask yourself, well, I want to slow that down. I want to be more considerate. I want to be more inquisitive. I want to be more interested in other people's opinions and thoughts and values. I want to listen. So with that objective in mind, you're going to reverse engineer the way you operate, right? You're going to reverse engineer to now you're slowing down. You're going to put a trigger in your mind that says, feeling emotion, stop. Feeling emotion, stop. And that stop is like running up to a stop sign and grabbing the brake. Stop. Look both ways. Think. Respond. Not react. Respond. And that response could be a question, a nod of the head, no expression at all, listening, thinking, contemplating. What it is it's awareness. So that's very critical as part of mindset. And I just want to reiterate here this category of attitude that I use. Attitude embodies those variables, the values, the beliefs, the feelings, the thoughts, the behaviors, and the consequences. This resides right in the middle of our mindset development because it is your attitude that can make or break you. It is your attitude that gives you the energy and enthusiasm to push forward into life. And that attitude is fueled by values, beliefs, feelings, and thoughts. In that sequence, could be thoughts and feelings, feelings and thoughts. Nevertheless, in the middle are those things within us that we feel and think. Okay. Now, in the next episode, episode 8, we're going to go into the behaviors and consequences. And just to give you a little bit of a preview of what I want to talk about there, it's designing your experiences. Behaviors and consequences are experiences. They are active efforts on our behalf to create our life. We'll get into more detail on that later. Okay, well, thank you for those who are on live, and for those watching the replay, thank you as well. So go out there today, make a difference, make an impact on the world, live without limits, and we'll see you in the next episode.